Chapter 3, Drakovian Intelligence. Hopefully you're all having a great day. I stare listlessly out the window of Margaret's private jet, watching the vast Atlantic Ocean sparkle far, far below. I'm glad you called me when you did. We might not be able to undo his kidnapping, but we shouldn't be too far behind them. I don't know a lot of other people with private jets. We've got to be close to landing now, right? Dracovia is on the eastern edge of Europe. We still have a couple of hours and a dozen countries to cross over before we arrive. She drums her fingers on her armrest. The unsteady, persistent rhythm gives voice to your anxiety, which is plenty of time for us to discuss what to expect. Tristan will likely be under house arrest. Scanning the thick sheet of parchment Lydia dropped in Tristan's apartment, embellished with the flowing signature of the Queen. But if Lydia has put Tristan in the dungeons, he won't be for long. Tristan knew the risks when he ignored the Queen's first summons. He wanted to stay in America, but he couldn't stand the idea of leaving. Margaret's eyes stay on yours a moment too long, as if she has a sense of what exactly Tristan could leave behind. You clear your throat. He knew going back to Dracovia would be like walking into the lion's den. A snake pit, but the optics of being dragged back by force aren't exactly in his favor. Maybe he thought he could call the Queen's bluff? Queen Victoria doesn't bluff. Ah, this hot chocolate is amazing. Mafalda is missing out. You are enjoying yourself way too much for someone who thinks private jets are a symbol of environmental and societal decay. It's research. We need to know how the enemy lives. In the seats behind you, Ruby and Luke cuddle together, a soft blanket draped over their laps and a pair of empty mugs on the table. Alice lies on the floor of the jet beside them, her tail sweeping happily every time Ruby reaches down to scritch between her ears. Ruby catches your eyes, her smile fading. But it would be nice not to be down a Genevosi. Unfortunately, she's not a free bird like the rest of us. She can't just shut down the agency. Hey, I'm not totally free from the corporate machine. I'm still gathering intel for her. As if I'd pass up the opportunity to see a real castle. Unlimited PTO, baby. Luke raises his eyebrows and gratefully accepts a new mug of cocoa from the attendee before ducking down behind the seat back. Margaret sighs. I just can't understand why the Queen sent Lydia. It's extremely atypical. She scans the letter you took from Tristan's apartment for the 1000th time. Queen Victoria's seal shines from the bottom of the thick parchment. Isn't that kind of Drakovia's thing? Doing what's least expected? Even if that's true, I'm the American ambassador. I swim through intel. Someone should have informed me the situation had escalated. Tristan is your favorite sibling. You really wouldn't have tipped him off? Well, yes, I would have, but they're not supposed to know how easily I'm swayed. I'm very good at my job, Chloe. Perhaps the Queen trusts Lydia more than she trusts you. Oh, that's for certain, but Lydia's usually called in only for the most dire circumstances. Last I heard, she was dispersing a scandal with one of the Scottish princes. She shouldn't have time to babysit Tristan. So the Queen thinks the case is serious enough to draw Lydia away from her duties? Not great. What else do we know? Lydia will have Tristan under house arrest. He won't be able to leave the palace, much less the country, until this matter is dealt with. When we touch down, I'll go alone to the palace, assess the situation, secure passes for you all. Once we know more, we can formulate a plan. Like hell you'll go alone. I'm coming with you. Tristan's my partner. If our positions were reversed, he would already be at those palace gates with his own personal battering ram. I have to be there for him. Margaret purses her lips and studies you carefully, and for a moment, you're worried she sees more than platonic concern in your eyes. Fine, but you should know what you're getting into. Our family only respects power. You need to intimidate the Thorns. Show them that you're Tristan's strongest ally. So I draw my taser the second we pass the drawbridge? Challenges mom to a duel. Nothing so unsubtle as that. You've heard of the term dress to kill, I assume? Dress to kill, meaning Pixelberry wants our money. With a wave of her hand, one of the flight attendees brings Marjorie a garment bag and then unzips it with a dramatic flourish. The perfect marriage between Drakovian culture and American flair. It says you respect our customs, but you aren't there to be trifled with. That's a hell of a lot for an outfit to say. First impressions matter, Chloe. And when it comes to my family, they're all that counts. They say looks can kill, make them believe it. I mean, I guess the outfit's okay. Let's make a statement. And if that fails, there are 3 hidden daggers she's built into the garment. It's BYO knives, of course. Damn, left my 3 secret daggers in my other bag. You take the outfit into the bathroom, slip into it. You feel a surge of confidence as you snap the gold metal belt into place and examine your figure in the mirror. So, am I intimidating enough? You are perfect. Damn, Chloe. This is what they invented the term slay for. Except in this case, we're trying to convince a royal court that our colleague didn't slay anyone. Margaret looks again out the window where the ocean has given way to craggy green mountains. This isn't going to be easy. Tristan has a great many enemies. Let them come. We'll be ready. That's what she said. You touch down in the Drakovian capital as the sun begins to rise. Margaret ushers you into a glossy town car as soon as you step off the plane. Driver's gaze lingers on Alice as she presses her snout into the tinted window, depositing a large trail of goo on the clean glass. Maybe I should have let Luke and Ruby take her to the hotel. Not at all. She'll make a nice power play. The driver rolls up the partition and zips through the crowded capital, dodging traffic, pedestrians, and what seem to be the optional red lights. As you push further into the heart of the city, Drakovians point excitedly at the flags flying from the roof, knowing a royal lurks behind the tinted windows. If only they knew which royal I really was, they'd be significantly less animated. You think so? You're my favorite of Tristan's siblings. Oh, they like me well enough, but I'm not adherent to anything but my fashion line. That takes some of the edge off. You only manage to catch glimpses of ancient architecture and world-renowned gardens before the car passes through an intimidating gate. Holy. A palace straight out of a gothic fairy tale stands proudly at the end of a long tree-lined driveway. So basically we've taken the normal palace and turned it very dark. Welcome to our childhood home. I didn't know we were in Transylvania. Childhood home. It's a castle, Margaret. He gives a little shrug as the car stops at the foot of a grand fountain with 2 stone staircases rising up on either side. You and Margaret step out, climbing 50 steps to the imposing front door. Alice bounds up the stairs behind you, tail wagging at the exercise. You stop there. The eyes of the palace guards fix on you, their hands hovering above the sword strapped to their hips. She will absolutely not. I'm sorry, Your Highness, but we've been given strict instructions. Nobody but the royal family is to enter the palace. Chloe's my personal guest and Prince Tristan's colleague. If I say she has leave to enter the palace, then she has leave. I've flown a long way to be here. You're not keeping me out now. Oh, you act like you have authority. Trouble. A handsome, sharply dressed young man emerges from the palace door. Assessing the situation, Margaret folds her arms. Nice suit, it's very shiny. Bass, call off the guards and let us in. Bass catches you, sizing him up. His gray eyes return the scrutiny, the tightening of his lips telling you that he's grudgingly impressed. Who's this, Margaret? Another of your aspiring models? Chloe Rose, private detective. Don't let your hand, he doesn't shake it. It's because you're beneath him. Oh, Margaret, you've armored her up. Isn't that optimistic of you? We dress for the outcome we deserve. Play nice, won't you, Sebastian? I don't play nice. If Detective Rose expects to be taken seriously, she would do well to remember that. And it's Prince Sebastian to her. Prince Sebastian. It's an honor to meet more of Tristan's family. A thorn in the flesh. I've heard a lot about the family. I highly doubt you've heard anything that's honest. Tristan always did like his white lies. Alice steps protectively in front of you, her cackles raised. The guards, Bass. I'll call off mine if you call off yours. Put a hand on Alice's neck, calming her. Easy, girl. Sebastian nods to the guards and they stand down without question as he sweeps you inside. You follow Margaret and Sebastian into a soaring, lavish foyer decorated with intricate frescoes, murals, and statues. I assume Tristan's in his suite. Why so eager for a reunion, little sister? You can't still think he's innocent? I don't think he's innocent, I know. Then there's nothing left for us to say to each other. Sebastian gives his sister a mocking bow before sweeping away, leaving you to listen to the quick steps of his departure. Margaret watches him go with a pained expression. Margaret leads you down a corridor lined with portraits and gilded frames. Sounds like you two haven't talked in a while. No, we used to be so close before Julie died, but between her death and the investigation, it changed him. Juliana's murder changed Sebastian? What stake did he have in it? Bass was a close friend of Julie's. She was a reformer, political activist, which was the side of Tristan never really understood. But Bass did. He supported her causes. They fought for change together. And then she died. He blamed Tristan, and I didn't. Neither of us has ever forgiven the other for it. Why did Sebastian think backing Tristan as a slight against him? Bass and I shared the same mother. When the entire country knows you're just the children of the king's mistress, it breeds solidarity. I've always been more tolerant of the limitations of illegitimacy, but Bass has always resented me for my complacency. Margaret leads you up a flight of stairs to a heavy door lined with royal guards. One opens a door for her with a flourish. Tristan should be through here. Expect resistance. Inside, Lydia reclines in a gilded chair, at least 6 visible weapons on her person. She glances at an antique clock as you step through the door. You arrived 2 hours earlier than I expected. Well done, little sister. Can I order this reunion without the patronizing older sister shtick? Across from Lydia, an unfamiliar man chuckles. He has what you've been beginning to recognize as a distinctly thornish look. I think I can deliver on that. Vasily. Van stands and grasps Margaret's arm in a warm greeting. He tucks a strand of hair behind Margaret's ear. It's good to see you again, despite the circumstances. You fold your arms, eyeing the closed door Lydia and Vasily's chairs are pointed towards. Can anyone tell me why you're standing guard over Tristan like he's already been convicted? Ah, you must be the New Yorker. Forgive me for saying so, but you don't look the way I assumed a private detective would. You know what they say about assuming things. Assuming the cop isn't poisoned is the fastest way to the grave. She's got you there, Vasily. Is that a saying here? Unfortunately, yes. But back to your question. Rest assured, if Tristan had been convicted, he'd be down in the dungeons, not relaxing in his old room. He's under house arrest, at least until his trial in the morning. We know our brother. Tristan has always been something of a flight risk. Guards would be useless against him. The only person who can bast a thorn is a thorn. Or did you not get a glean from our fight yesterday? Oh, was that a fight? Most people call that a break-in. I had a warrant. From your mom? What are you gonna do about it, detective? Call the real police? Lydia, please, don't go Tristan and Margaret's guest into a duel of boredom. Why shouldn't I? Because we can't afford the diplomatic incident when you use grandmother's rapier to turn her into a pincushion. You can't. Seems like a pretty expensive prison. If you try the door, Detective Rose, you'll find it isn't locked. Tristan prefers sulking to losing a chess. But just don't try to smuggle him out of the palace. It won't end well for you. If spiriting Tristan out of this palace was my goal, Captain, we've already begun. Margaret lightly touches your wrist. Lydia leans over the chessboard, nudging a pawn forward. Why don't you go ahead, Chloe? I have some topics to discuss with my siblings. No one stops you as you step in a large ornate door, but you feel their eyes on you until it softly clicks shut. Inside, you find a lavish bedroom, adorned with silk drapery, elegant crown molding. Tristan stands at the window with his back to you, staring moodily out at the expensive gardens. Save your breath, Lydia. You might have spent 8 years thinking of ways to gloat over me, but I'm already bored by what you've come up with. Good thing I'm so humble. He whirls his mouth, dropping open as he takes you in. His eyes shine with a sudden unshed tears. Chloe? Oh, I also go by greatest partner in the world and savior of royals in distress. My hero. He crosses the room, and 3 swift steps wrap you in a warm embrace. I can't believe you actually are here. The thought of holding you like this kept me going. You turn your face towards this, capturing his lips in an urgent kiss as scent washes over you, filling you with equal parts relief and longing. I was so worried about you. Tristan's hand cups the back of your neck, a thumb stroking your cheeks as he gazes in your eyes. The look on your face as Lydia spirited me out of my apartment. I'm sorry I worried you, Chloe. It wouldn't be the first time. I'm here for you, whatever you need. Tristan's fingers toy with the hem of your luxurious, sleek leather garment. A smirk plays on his lips. So, you are and dressed for battle. Margaret's work, I assume. Does your dark Drakovian heart approve? I've never felt more patriotic. You glance around the lavish room, your eyes catching on the portrait of a younger, happier Tristan hanging over the dresser. Okay, let's just get into it. What's your defense strategy? To hear the evidence, deny it. I haven't even met my lawyer. I'm not scheduled to meet the man until tomorrow morning. But the trial is tomorrow morning. Now you're catching on. All I know is that Juliana's mothers have presented a new evidence to the court. I thought the whole mystery was that none existed. Well, see, that's probably until they found out he was famous in New York for the heartache killer. But I digress. Perhaps they finally found something that can explain what happened, or God knows I've tried. Tristan, you know you aren't guilty. The truth wouldn't mean much if they found something that makes me look guilty. The case is all hearsay. My say hasn't been worth much in Dracovia for years. Well, figure it out. Luke and Ruby are here. Margaret, too. If your lawyer isn't helping, we need to get ahead of the opposition. Tristan leans forward and to take your hand, silencing the words on your lips. Chloe, listen to me. He interlaces his fingers through yours, eyes growing soft in the dim light. What we need, my gorgeous partner, is to get my mind off of whatever is waiting for me in the courtroom tomorrow. For now, let's pretend it doesn't exist. I can show you around my home as if I actually intended for you to come here. Tristan... He presses his forehead against yours, his hand tightening around your fingers. I know it isn't ideal, but we were talking about how much we wanted to escape from New York together. I'll take you to my favorite place in the whole sordid building. It'll just be me and you. And whichever lackey Lydia signs to skulk after us. But I think I can shake the royal guard. Tristan's lips find your ear, whispering in a sultry voice. I know the perfect hiding spot where we can make up for lost time. His eyes gleam cheekily as he makes his proposal. But you see something else there too, whatever's coming tomorrow. He's afraid of it. Alright, it's a date. Woo me with your castle of royal wonders. Tristan grins, the shadows instantly lifting from his eyes. He pulls you straight towards the door. Lydia waits alone in the parlor, picking her nails with a long, thin dagger. Where did the others go? Out. Alice lays beside Tristan's door, her eyes suspiciously trained on Lydia. That's my beautiful girl. Lydia's eyes slide over you and catch on Tristan's face. You have bags under your eyes, brothers. Worried about something? Bored out of my mind, actually. It's terrible for my complexion. You can borrow one of my knives if you'd like to etch your remaining minutes of freedom into the wallpaper. A wonderful offer, but I actually prefer to stretch my legs a bit. Are you to get dramatic if I show Chloe around? Knock yourself out. Make sure you show her the Angel of Mercy on the second floor. You're not gonna follow us? Lydia shrugs and stretches her legs out. I have eyes all over this castle, detective. If you're stupid enough to try anything, I'll hear about it. Alice's ears perk up as you and Tristan head for the corridor. She bounds after you like a personal guard. Tristan leads you up a grand staircase lined with paintings and suits of armor. How much do you know about Drakovian history? Or shall I give you a beautifully ignorant American tour? Are you gonna rub it in, or are you actually gonna teach me something? Tristan chuckles as he leads you back through the gallery you first came through. We'll cover your opinions in the review period, Chloe. For now, stay sharp. Behold the war helmet of Dunstan the Terrible. The Lout began construction on this palace in 1307, but alas, he'd never stepped foot inside. It's a nice helmet, I guess. Showboaty. Let me guess. Gory. Untimely death. Financial problems. Dunstan's was all but broke. Construction halted for 59 years. His great-granddaughter, Eleanor the Ruthless, finished its vision. The castle became the permanent residence of the Drakovian royal family in 1532. After a disagreement with Cordonia, Eleanor saw the Winter Palace have its residence burned to a crisp. Who burned what? You know history. Every country has a different story. An oil portrait of a regal-looking dog catches your eye. Oh god, it's everywhere you go. I hope she wasn't one of the victims. Madame Tippy Toes? If only. Alice sits beneath the rendition mirroring the dog's pose. Alice, you fit right in. Tippy Toes cannot hope to compare to the dapperness, Alice. By all accounts, she was a wild, half-rabid beast who plagued Queen Catalina's staff for the last 2 decades of the 1800s. I agree, Alice. You're far more worthy of a portrait than the moth-bitten little beast. You seem to know a lot about your history. For someone who doesn't want to be here. What I wanted never did matter much. Did you ever want this? To be walking Drakovian history book? No, not particularly. But Mother did like to show off by making her precious little hair give tours to visiting dignitaries. I didn't mean the history lesson. I know. Tristan leads you down a long gallery corridor. Statues stand in alcoves along the wall, illuminated by the chandeliers above. Winged and robed skeleton carved with pristine white marble captures your attention. What is that? That is the Angel of Mercy, a Renaissance artist named Richard Porvaki carved it in 1742 to call attention to Dracovia's legacy of sin. It's ominous. It was seen as an invitation to repent before the heavens brought their merciful wrath down upon us. Probably another black plague. Honestly, Porvaki wasn't the clearest with his artistic vision. Such visions of grandeur, but not much substance. You raise an eyebrow and continue on to the next statue, a bust of a man with kind eyes and a thick mustache. This guy seems friendlier. My great-grandfather. Assassinated, but yes, very friendly by royal standards. He's hardly the first thorn to die for an age-old political grudge, and he probably won't be the last. I've always heard that trauma gets kind of written into our DNA. From who? My dad. That in science. He said that on some subconscious or cellular level, we remember the wars and hardships inflicted on our ancestors. I'm not sure if I find that miserable or sort of beautiful. I think some things can be both. Tristan takes your hand and leads you onward, the smile returning to his lips as you stop beside an alcove in the wall featuring nothing. Here's my favorite stop on the tour. You're going to like this one. What am I looking at? His eyebrows waggle suggestively. The Tristan Thorn makeout spot. Not even Lydia's peons would be able to see us, and till they were right on top of us. There's only one alcove that gives you real privacy. One person I want on top of me, oh yeah. Sorry, not sorry for that. Of course not. There's a spot like this on nearly every floor. But you brought me to this one because... Grins and pulls you into the alcoves, hands resting on your waist. Because this one's the coziest, and because of this. He points to a few lines of Drakovian graffiti etched in the wall. You know I can't read Drakovian, right? Allow me to translate. The writer implores whoever sees this message to seize their life before it ends prematurely by knife. I can see why that saying never caught on. It's old Drakovian, doesn't translate perfectly. He smiles at you, a hungry gleam in his eyes. But I think the sentiment is a good one. Well, in that case... push him. Grab Tristan's shirt and push him firmly against the wall. You press yourself against him, enjoying the look of surprise on his face. Consider me seized. I'll be the judge of that. You pin his hips in place with your own, capture him in a kiss, his lips part beneath yours, tongue brushing teasingly against your lips. Your hands lie down his back, settling into his waistband. His fingers trace gently down over your clothes, exploring the curves and lines of your body. A moan escapes your lips as you pull him closer. You part, heart pounding, peek around the edge of the alcove. One of Lydia's agents leans idly against a wall. Alice stands between you and the guard, her hackles raised. Damn it. Tour's over? Almost. Tristan takes a moment to kiss you one last time, softly, slowly. Time seems to still while his lips are against yours. Then he pulls away with a sigh. This was worth every second for one last moment alone with you. You know, we could just go back to the room, right? This isn't our last moment, Tristan, I promise you that. He only smiles before stepping out into the corridor. He's still smiling when the guard pushes off the wall and trails you all the way back to his room. The next morning, you arrive at Draco's courthouse. You sidle up to the jittery Tristan, bouncing lightly on his toes. How are you feeling? Oh, you know, aside from being dragged back on trial for a horrific death of a woman I care deeply about, I'm positively peachy. He smiles at you, but its brilliance doesn't reach his eyes. Your heart aches for him. You shift closer to him and slip your hand into his, giving his fingers a warm squeeze. When my dad accused me of murder, it was usually a casual kitchen conversation. And by murder, we mean cutting glass. Tristan gives a low, soft laugh, squeezing your hand once more before reluctantly letting go. I'll be watching with Luke and Ruby. If you need any more moral support, just look for me. I always do. Give Tristan a last encouraging look and head up to the quickly filling gallery. Luke interrogates Margaret as you arrive. Not quite how it's done in the US. In place of a judge, a ruler will preside. In this case, the Queen. How does she prove impartiality? She's the Queen, she doesn't have to. Wow. That sounds like more of a dictatorship than a monarchy. Why do you think so many despots style themselves after royalty? Is that her? Ruby points as a woman you can only describe as regal enters the court. She wears no velvet and ermine robe, but every move she makes radiates with power. Yes, that's her. She's beautiful. Sure, cold, dead eyes, your thing. No offense, Margaret. None taken, she's not my mother. Margaret's eyes widen as the opposing counsel turns and glances at your side of the room. The prosecutor is Nadja Zorik, the greatest political and legal mind of all Dracovia. She was also Juliana's best friend. So if she's here, then this is even more serious than we thought. But Tristan is innocent. This woman must be out for revenge. Even with their history, Nadja isn't the type to draw unnecessary blood. If she's here, then something has convinced her of Tristan's guilt. You're not doubting him, are you? Tristan? Never. His chances, however... You look over nervously as Tristan, and as he takes a seat, he watches Nadja carefully, keeping his expression steady as the Queen calls the court to order. Miss Zorik, you believe you have the definitive evidence against Prince Thorn in this suspicious death of Countess Juliana Grogesco? I do, Your Majesty. Nadja nods and confidently strides to the front of the courtroom, turning to play to the impressive audience rather than the Queen. Juliana Grogesco's death has been shrouded in mystery for too long. Allow me to paint you a picture of her final hours. On the night of her death, Juliana attended Princess Margaret's fashion show with her betrothed, Prince Tristan. Your mouth goes dry as her words take you on a terrible journey. Although Juliana and Tristan arrived to Margaret's debut together, nobody saw them leave, only that they were gone by the time the lights came back up. Too beautiful a night to spend it trapped in a room full of insufferable people, don't you think? We're to support one very sufferable person, remember? Margaret will be a triumph with or without us here. I want you all to myself tonight. How can I refuse an offer like that? Prince Tristan was so sure that nobody saw them sneak out of the palace that night. Wait. Lydia Thorne. Alright, go, before she comes back this way. Your sister will never know. And on to the family yacht, alone with no crew. Prince Tristan knew a storm was approaching. All the better to cover up what he had planned for Juliana. Tristan, stop! He began by choking Juliana, as evidenced by the heavy injuries to her neck. But she escaped. Get back here! Tristan, don't! The violent Prince Tristan shoved Juliana against the side of the boat, causing grievous injury to the back of her skull. She died instantly. Then the prince dumped her body into the ocean, formulated a weak excuse. The storm was too much, the drink too strong. But Juliana eventually returned to us, battered, bruised, her body waterlogged and cold. You lean over to whisper to Margaret, keeping an eye on Tristan's face. Is this ethical? It's all conjecture. It's Dracovia. It's customary for opening arguments to make a big splash as possible. She's not presenting evidence to the Queen, but to the public and the press. It has been 8 long years without justice or definitive answers, but that ends today. Nadia returns to her seat. If the Queen is angry at the accusation leveled at her son, she doesn't show it. Thank you, Miss Zorig. Mr. Everhart, your rebuttal. Tristan's lawyer takes center stage and shrugs. Is it suspicious that Prince Tristan lured the beloved Countess away from her crown and isolated her on an empty yacht? Perhaps. But who can speak to the whims of a prince? Sounds like a regular Tuesday to a privileged young man, used to getting his own way. Wow, this is his attorney? Wait a second, this is the defense? That Tristan's a rich asshole? But he's not even that bad for how rich he is. Oh no, you've got to be kidding me. On the subject of Tristan's character, the prosecution has several witnesses who can attest to such. Our first witness is Princess Astrid Thorne. You raise your eyebrow as a beautiful, waifish woman takes the stand. Princess Astrid, do you believe your eldest brother was capable of killing his fiancée, Juliana? Oh, I can totally see it. Like, no offense, Tristan. It's absolutely nothing personal. Love is just so crazy. Like, who among us hasn't been in love and gotten really, really mad? Really? Really right now with you? Really? Then the next thing you know, you're waking up in Prague covered in blood, being screamed at by sheks by some old lady. Tristan's eyes close for a long, long moment. What follows is a carousel of unflattering testimonies from his remaining siblings present. Juliana was a kind, gentle woman rallying for change in our system of governance. I hate to say it, but those changes would have seen Tristan removed his heir to the throne. I can see how that might have caused motive. Really? Wow, his whole family's against him, okay. She was a level-headed, responsible. She had plans for the future, hers and Drakovia's. Tristan only ever had plans for his next birthday party. He wasn't good enough for Juliana or to her. Tristan confessed to being responsible for her death after her body was found. That's good enough for me. Woof. None of this is actual evidence. It's not even a balanced character assessment. Nobody asked me, Casper, Amika, or Patrick to testify. Tristan's lawyer clears his throat and stands, but he looks uninterested, almost bored. While Prince Tristan's siblings might have opinions on their relationship, none of them can say what happened the night she disappeared. Is he even trying? You shift angrily in your seat as the testimonies finally come to a close. This lawyer has no skill whatsoever. You're wrong. Jean-Luc Everhart is one of the most sought-after lawyers on the side of the continent. He's throwing this case on purpose. Someone's paying him off. If this is evidence you want, Mr. Everhart, we're more than happy to provide it. Nadja produces a sheaf of paper and protective plastic. A letter. This can't be good. present a letter recently recovered, written and signed by Juliana herself, addressed to Prince Tristan. Naomi Gregesco, mother of the victim, will read the contents of your daughter's letter to the court. Naomi takes a stand. Her voice trembles with fury, and the paper shakes as she reads. People think you're special, charming, but you're possessive, controlling, and positively delusional. I've tried in vain over the years to put an end to our courtship, and you have ignored my wishes. You look at Tristan, his cool mask has fallen, leaving him shaken and appalled. This letter is the only avenue I have left to me. No more forcing your unwanted kisses on me. No more following me at night. We are finished. I am finished with you. Signed by my daughter, 2 months after her engagement to Prince Tristan. A storm of whispers rustles through the courtroom, while the Queen remains implacable. Something's wrong. It doesn't sound anything like Tristan. Agreed. The behavior this letter describes are antisocial, possessive. Tristan's worst crime is being a little overconfident. The letter must be forged. I don't think so. Julie's mothers would know a forgery in an instant, and I've never believed they had an agenda against Tristan. You really think this sounds like something Juliana would have written? Juliana wasn't a confrontational person. She would have had to be at a breaking point to write this. Sounds like we're conveniently missing some important context. Order! The power in the Queen's voice is so complete that a room falls instantly silent. I assume this isn't the only evidence you've brought against a Prince of Dracovia, Mrs. Zorik. No, Your Majesty. Now that we know the real Tristan Thorn, it's time to hear the confession he made that terrible day, recorded by your own royal guard. Oh, shit. They got it on tape? A cold finger of fear slides down your neck as Margaret's head falls into her hands. Chloe, if we don't find a way to get Tristan's confession thrown out, he's royally screwed. Well, we got nothing this time. What do you want from me? We did all the diamond choices, so... Alright, without further ado, remember that if you did enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. And down in the description, plenty of things to check out there. Please remember to support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let me say the following. Hopefully you're all having a good day. If not, hopefully this video made it better. If not, you can always reach out to me, and I'll be more than glad to hear what troubles you. But, without further ado, in regards to this chapter, I don't really know what to make of it. I really don't. I don't understand where the letter came from. Clearly they already had the people who did the hubbub before now, so clearly that was already a thing. But then now we've got the recording. So, I mean, Tristan did blame himself for, you know, what he did and everything else, but yeah, no, something tells me this is an illusion of choice and the recording is still going to be played. So I don't know what really to say. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and without further ado, catch you all later. Peace out.